Right? Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We've got a deeply serious and, honestly, an incredibly dense sequence of events to unpack right now. We're looking at a recent report emerging out of Assam that involves a really tragic attack, severe casualties, and then a very definitive, abrupt conclusion initiated by law enforcement. Because the info we get during breaking news is usually so compressed and chaotic, our goal today is just to slow things down a bit. We're going to separate out the facts, look closely at the timeline, and understand exactly what has been reported. So let's dive right in and start unpacking this whole sequence. So the raw, objective headline straight from our source at NDTV reads, "Accused dies in encounter after Assam attack leaves one dead, girl critical." Notice how much intense narrative is literally packed into that one single sentence. In the fast-paced world of news, we usually just kind of scan a headline like that and keep scrolling, right? But since we're really trying to understand this today, we need to pause here. That single sentence holds a complete arc, a violent catalyst, the resulting human tragedy, identifying a suspect, and then the ultimate fatal police response. We're going to break this single piece of information down so we can fully grasp the actual weight of what went down. All right, part one. The initial attack, and the victims. Now, before any police encounter even took place, there was a profound human cost here. The initial attack in Assam resulted in two distinct casualties. One person was left dead, and a young girl was left in critical condition. This severe reality really establishes the gravity of the exact situation law enforcement was walking into. I mean, this wasn't just some minor infraction. It was a fatal incident with a young life literally still hanging in the balance. This violent catalyst is the exact thing that sparked the incredibly rapid sequence of events that followed. Moving on to part two, the chronology of a closed case. You know how when we read a news story, the events just kind of blur together? Well, laying it out sequentially like this really highlights the sheer speed of this story. Look at phase one, the fatal attack happens. Then, phase two, the immediate aftermath where the victims are discovered. One life tragically lost, another in critical jeopardy. This is the exact moment an active, urgent investigation kicks off. And then, abruptly, we hit phase three. The accused is killed in a police encounter. There is a direct, incredibly rapid pipeline from the inciting tragedy right to the law enforcement response. This isn't a timeline that stretches out into months of judicial hearings. It compresses into a swift, chronological sequence right there on the ground. Okay, part three, the police encounter. One. Just one. That number represents the single accused individual mentioned in the report. Amidst all the absolute chaos following the initial attack, the authorities' focus narrowed down to this one suspect. And the death of this single individual in the police encounter completely and abruptly ended the immediate active threat of the situation. It's a stark reminder of just how rapidly an investigation can pivot from a tense manhunt to a completely closed loop. Authorities identify the accused, an encounter happens, and that one individual dies, effectively shutting down the immediate unfolding narrative of the crime. Let's weigh these two halves of the story against each other. On one side, we have the initial tragedy, one person dead, a girl critical. And on the flip side, we have the violent resolution, the accused dying in an encounter. When we analyze this neutrally, we start to see a stark symmetry in the reporting. A situation that kicked off with severe, fatal violence was ultimately met with a violent, definitive conclusion by law enforcement. The report doesn't try to offer commentary or take sides. It simply presents these two really heavy realities side by side, the violent catalyst on one end and the violent endpoint on the other. Which leaves us with this final, lingering thought. We've traced the whole timeline, right? From a horrific attack all the way to the death of the accused in a police encounter. The immediate threat is neutralized, absolutely, but the sequence completely bypasses the traditional courtroom process. So I really want to leave you pondering this. When an encounter ends a case before a trial even begins, how do we process that kind of abrupt resolution? It's a really complex intersection of public safety, immediate law enforcement action, and the judicial process. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope that breaking these events down has helped you see the massive sequence hidden inside a single breaking news alert. Until next time, keep analyzing the facts and keep asking questions.